Hey, one thing before we closed out tonight, because I think that's good for questions. I want to hit a couple quick, Tim Ferriss's new book. I want to hit a couple quick things from it. Tribe of Mentors is what it's called. And there's a lot of good info in it. And it's written in really short little sections. If you didn't know this yet, I mean, you can read them in like 5 or 10 minutes. And what he did in this book is he took and asked the same, I think it's 10 or 11 questions to all these different, I would say random, but they're not random because they're all kind of successful in whatever realm they're going to be successful in, because I guess successful is a very open term, right? Sure. But whatever realm they're in, they're successful. There's all kinds of people in here. And I read like the first couple 150 pages or so, and I just wanted to pull out a couple of the ones that I thought were pretty cool, that I thought people could take a little something away from. And I was like, Tim, can I read a couple of these things? He's like, yeah, go ahead. Whatever. Hopefully he doesn't sue me. Anyways, so here we go. The first one is a little section from some excerpts, and I'm not reading the whole, like everything in each person's section, but just some of the highlights. Stephen Pressfield. The guy's an author. He's in the Marine Corps. You know who Stephen Pressfield is?
Sure, I do.
Yeah, he wrote The Art of War. He wrote The Legend of Bagger Vance. That's a movie.
The War of Art.
Yeah, sorry. He wrote The War of Art, which is obviously a play on words for the art of war. And the war of art is like how to be creative and how to overcome those things and overcome the resistance and all that.
Yes, the resistance.
And Joe Rogan actually told me he used to have a stack of those books and he'd just give them to people that came to meet him.
Yeah, that's why I read it. Joe Rogan.
Oh, there you go. And he also wrote Gates of Fire, which is a freaking awesome book, actually. And it's about the Spartans, the Battle of Thermopylae. And they actually teach Gates of Fire like at the basic school for the Marine Corps and at the Naval Academy. At least I've heard that they teach it. So that's pretty awesome. Anyways, here's a question for Stephen Pressfield. The question is, what advice would you give to a smart, driven college student about to enter the real world? What advice should they ignore? Here's what he said. I'm probably hopelessly out of date, but my advice is get real world experience. Be a cowboy. Drive a truck. Join the Marine Corps. Get out of the hyper-competitive life hack frame of mind. I'm 74. Believe me, you've got all the time in the world. You've got 10 lifetimes ahead of you. Don't worry about your friends beating you or getting somewhere ahead of you. Get out and get into the real dirt world and start failing. Why do I say that? Because the goal is to connect with your own self, your own soul. Adversity. Everybody spends their life trying to avoid it. Me too. But the best things that ever happened to me came during the times when the shit hit the fan and I had nothing and nobody to help me. Who are you really? What do you really want? Get out there and fail and find out.
Very interesting.
Pretty.
It's funny, I was talking to Jade last night. Literally last night, he told me the same thing.
Get out there and fail? What part?
That thing. It's like,
live?
So me, when I step outside of my comfort zone, I take one tiny step. And here's the thing.
He told you to jump?
He told me to, take a bigger jump kind of thing. He didn't tell me to do it. He just recommended it. Because, my whole, and this is probably half justification, by the way. I have a comfort zone. I'll take one tiny step, and then I'll take the, when you step outside, you get burned or whatever, you get, the whatever, and then you grow from it. That's what happens. That's the whole idea, right? So I take a tiny step, then I take the tiny hit, and then I get the tiny growth. But I try to do it all the time. But it's still safe, man. That's still safe. Because that's just like one pinky outside the comfort zone. That's what he was saying. He was like, you got to step outside. Because just the fact that you can endure a big fail, he's saying go out there and fail, right? It's Pressfield. So if you can endure like a big fail or two big fails or major fails, now you have the ability to endure major failure, that kind of thing. That was his whole thing. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't tell him that at the time. I was just like, no, man, I'm doing it perfectly.
Check. Next question for Stephen Pressfield. When you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, what do you do? And here's his answer. I have a friend at the gym who knew Jack LaLanne. Google him if the name is unfamiliar. Jack used to say, it's okay to take a day off from working out, but on that day, you're not allowed to eat. That's the short way of saying you're not really allowed to get unfocused. Take a vacation, gather yourself, but know that the only reason you're here on this planet is to follow your star and do what the muse tells you. It's amazing how a good day's work will get you right back to feeling like yourself. That's good info right there. When I realized this, it's so easy to go down the downward spiral of eat bad food, feel bad, not get good workouts, sleep late, sleep like crap. And then what do you do when you feel like crap?
You want to feel better as soon as possible, so you do some immediate gratification stuff.
Right. You go, oh, you know what? I don't feel like working out, so I'm not going to work out.
Yeah.
And then you say, you know what? I don't feel good. And the reason you don't feel good is because you didn't work out. And so now what you do is you're like, well, you know what's going to make me feel better? A donut.
And a beer.
And a beer. And so you get the donut and the beer. And then now you really don't feel like working out. So that's the downward spiral.
Yeah.
Break the spiral. Break it. Break, what did you call it the other day when Jordan Peterson was on? Break the loop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. You got to break the loop. And that's what he's talking about. When you're feeling like crap, get after it.
Yeah.
That's how I translate it. Yeah. And it makes you feel better. And it gets you right back on the path.
Yeah.
And that's why actually fasting is a good thing.
Yeah.
Fasting is a good way to get yourself reacquainted with the path real quick. You fill your body with a bunch of junk.
Yeah.
It makes you not want to perform. It makes you not want to work out. It makes you not want to work.
Yeah.
When you're clean, you feel good. So hit a fast 24 hours. You know, rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I like that. You want to take a day off? That's cool. No eating. How legit is that? It's real legit. It's real legit. Because now, guess what? At lunchtime, you're like, man, I just want to eat something cool. Go bang out a workout. And then you can get your grub on.
Makes sense.
Or you can just work out and still not eat. All right. Getting into the next cat here. This guy's name is Jerzy Gregorek. And this guy emigrated from Poland to the United States as a political refugee with his wife in 1986. And he subsequently won 4 world weightlifting championships and established 1 world record. Founded the UCLA weightlifting team. And by the way, this guy's been on Tim's podcast as well. This guy, Jerzy. Also writer, wrote poems and had award-winning poems. But this is kind of a cool little statement that he wrote in here. He kind of goes on a little bit of a tangent. This isn't related to the question, but I'm going to jump into it. He says, 5 years ago, I decided to eliminate my reactive behavior to irritations. But at first, none of my tricks worked. I placed philosophical and inspirational quotes on my iPhone wallpaper and wrote in my journal, but the proverbs always lost their effectiveness over time. Then one day, I told one of my clients who blamed her husband for everything to take 100% responsibility for her part in the interactions. This way, I said, you will be free of trying to control him and you will be able to find constructive solutions in your relationship. When she left, I realized that the same advice could help me as well. Taking 100% personal responsibility would help me to stop blaming or complaining and achieve a sense of flow. It would also give me the clarity in any conversation to locate the right words to help a person accept a hard choice. So he's talking about extreme ownership. And we talk about that in taking extreme ownership in a relationship with another human being. Don't blame them. Figure out how you're going to solve the problem yourself. You know what this reminded me of was when Captain Plum was on and he had his cellmate. And do you remember Captain Plum? And we touched on it. But he was saying that if their cellmate was annoying them, Because believe, they're living with one other or two other or three other people for months on end in a little freaking Hanoi Hilton cell.
Mm-hmm.
And he said if that person, because you can imagine how you get on each other's nerves, and they all took the attitude that if they allowed themselves, if Echo was getting on my nerves, it wasn't Echo's fault, it was my fault.
Yeah.
My fault.
Yeah.
And that's what he's talking about here. Then you can actually fix it. The next question that Jersey answered is this one. If you could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say and why? And here we go. Here's what his answer was. Hard choices, easy life. Easy choices, hard life. Nothing truly meaningful or lasting has ever been created in a short period of time. If you learn the story behind any great success, you realize how many years went by and how many hard choices were made to achieve it. Reaching for more is not only an act of ambition, it also comes from passion and love. Nothing is achieved because of easy choices. I believe that people can endure any hardship if it is sensible and constructive. Hard choices means never retiring because the brain has to be engaged in finding new solutions in the moment, not just remembering old formulas. Hard choices make us wiser, smarter, stronger, and wealthier, and easy choices reverse our progress, focusing our energies on comfort or entertainment. In every difficult moment, ask yourself, what is a hard choice and what is an easy choice? And you will know instantly what is right.
That's good.
Does that even need commentary? Not really.
Yeah. Yep. Makes sense.
That's a great thing to think about.
Yeah.
Discipline equals freedom. Discipline is hard, man.
Yeah, you know how you said like pay now or pay later kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like if you want to pay later, or if you want to, a lot of people, they try to pay later,
Yeah, well, I heard one the other day. You can either suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret.
Right. Same thing.
Same
exact thing. Yeah.
People saying the same thing. Must mean something.
Yeah.
It must mean something. Pay attention to it.
Yeah. Pay now, pay later.
All right. Moving to the next section here, page 127 from Tribe of Mentors. Amelia Boone. And she wakes up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. She's legit. And she's 4-time world champion in the sport of obstacle course racing. I met her a couple times. You met her too.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a beast. And what's cool about her is she beats, like she did the 2012 World's Toughest Mudder competition. It's 24 hours, 90 miles, 300 obstacles. She finished second overall out of more than 1,000 competitors, including 80% of which are male. Second overall. Did I say something about being durable earlier?
No yeah.
That's durable.
Yeah.
So, Amelia, awesome human. And last one we'll do here, but she got asked, same question. If you could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would you say and why? And Amelia says, no one owes you anything. We live in a world that's rampant with entitlement, with many people believing that they deserve to be given more. My parents raised me to be self-sufficient and impressed upon me that the only person you can really depend on in life is you. If you want something, you work for it. You don't expect it to be given. If others help you along the way, that's fantastic, but it's not a given. I believe that the key to self-sufficiency is breaking free of the mindset that someone somewhere owes you something or will come to your rescue. No one owes you anything. No one's coming to your rescue. It's on you. Obviously. I couldn't agree more. And it's funny because, as she said, I mean, we know the importance of a team. And you always hear people say, you know, you can't do it by yourself, and I'm not here. I'm here because of so many different people. And that's true. But that doesn't mean that you can sit around and rely on other people to save you or to do the heavy lifting or even to help you out in any other way. Help from other people is a luxury. It's a luxury that you shouldn't count on. So step up and own it and make it happen, because no one owes you anything. That book is Tribe of Mentors. Timothy Ferriss. He's got Timothy. Not Tim anymore. Timothy Ferriss. Good. Short life advice from the best in the world. Mm-hmm.